Hey everybody, this is davidskarica. How are you doing? Saturday after the Thanksgiving, well, I guess it's during the Thanksgiving weekend. But watch the Raiders lose. Actually, they're doing it perfect. They're actually still competitive and playing. Actually, they played probably their best game of the season because they did lose to the Chiefs barely, and they should have won because they screwed it up at the end. And the Raiders coach is horrible. But anyhow, just wanted to show you something. So we're gonna do a couple of videos. I'm walking. Decided to take a walk again today. There's a restaurant called the Front Porch that I really like. I'll probably do another video. So this one, I don't know if I'm gonna put this one out Sunday or Saturday afternoon when I get home. I guess it depends how many drinks I have at lunch. So anyhow, so just wanted to show you quickly these here. So Eleuthera was the largest producer of pineapples in the world years ago. I'm always nervous when I see those yellow license plates, by the way, just so you know, because yellow means that those are rentals. So yeah, anyhow, so these are the kind of the cisterns or whatever you want to call them that they put the pineapples in. So this all were like pineapple fields like 100 years ago. Supposedly the pineapples that they make in Hawaii actually originally came from here. And there's something about the soil here, like I'm not really any, you'll see it's like this reddish soil and there's a lot of limestone. It just makes the pineapples like really sweet. Like you can eat the middle too. Like the core is like the best part. So my friend actually owns this farm now. So you can see it's all palm trees. What he did is he used to grow whatever, you know, everything in there and do vines and do arugula and basil and stuff. But what he found out was, you know, these big pine trees, you can sell for $1,000 or $2,000 each, especially when someone rich builds a fancy house and they want a bunch of palm trees or coconut trees. So he just grows that, right? So anyhow, so yeah, so then what happened was the farm that was here, they even had a farm here. The town I'm walking to was called Hatchet Bay. Excuse me. And the reason it was called Hatchet Bay was because Hatchet, you know, it was chicken farm. So Hatchet, like you cut the chicken's heads off, right? You can see right here, there is Eleuthera pineapple farms. So there are still, those are pineapple trees right there. The season, just so you know, is about May or June. So anyhow, and if you ever came down here, they have a pineapple festival where they have like music and like food booths and stuff like that. So anyhow, Hatchet Bay. So, and on top of that, they also had these, there's still a few cows there, but they had like a dairy farm and they used to make their own ice cream and milk. And then, so what happened was there's a thing called the Levee Reserve, which is this really nice kind of area you can walk through. It's like kind of national park, I guess you could say. And the Levee guy, he owned the farm, and then his wife inherited when he passed away, and then she gave it to the government, gave it to the islands or whatever, gave it to the country. And then supposedly what happened with that was there was like a loan on it through a bank, or they took out a loan on it or something through a bank. I think it was in Boston, and the government just defaulted on the loan. And it was going down the drain anyhow. And then unfortunately, and there's a bit of a scam down here where a lot of the politicians, a lot of the big businessmen, they own the food importation companies. And what is the easiest thing on an island or island country you can make money on? You have to import food, right? You know, okay, there's certain things you can grow here, like, you know, pineapples, and you know, there's a farm that's just up the road here too, you know. But let's face it, on an island, you have to, you know, things like canned food. It's just not big enough to have your own plants here or whatever, like things like steaks and chicken, en masse, especially if, like, you know, you have a lot of tourists. Like, you have way more tourists that come to the Bahamas than the actual population of the country, right? You probably have, they have 3 or 4 million tourists come through the country every year, and you only have 400,000 people in the country, of course. So the restaurants and stuff like that need food like that. You know, you're not going to have a Lay's chip factory in Nassau. You're going to bring that stuff in, right? So the easiest way to make your money on taxes is, you know, having some duty on some of these foods, and you can't get around that. You have to pay it, right? Where if you grow your own food, people can maybe get it tax-free. So they don't promote the local farming industry here, which I think is a shame. And like I said, the pomegranates and the pineapples are the best things I've ever had here. So you can see this is like a little flower shop, and anyhow, this is a Hatchet Bay cave. So this is a cave that goes in the ground. You can go in there and whatever. I don't really ever go to it because my friend, even though he's an older gentleman, he fell in it and broke his hip. So I've always kind of stayed away from this thing. I know it's never really interested me much anyhow. So in terms of the market, what would we talk about today? We talked about Macy's. I don't know. There's not really much I want to talk about in the market right now because, like I've talked about, gold is kind of in this trading range, and the market, I think this Trump trade is going to peter out. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a 1929 scenario or 87. It'll go up into the next summer. Maybe it'll peter out in the first quarter. But what's interesting is, I guess that's what I'll talk about. I'll put a chart of it below this. Stocks above the moving averages has really been a laggard on this rally. And actually, the breadth has not been great. Well, different sectors have participated. We've seen this huge market. Say, for example, like the banking sector has been really a leader. The finance sector on this rally rather than tech. But tech is kind of, lagged a bit. And the big techs of the Magnificent Seven aren't really doing that great. Even NVIDIA didn't do very much on its earnings. So we've kind of seen that. So anyhow, so I think that could be a warning sign, because when you have not a lot of stocks trading over their 20, 50, and 200-day moving averages, it's time to get a little worried. So anyhow, I guess I'm done for this video now. So when I'm at this restaurant, part of the reason I'm doing this, I've been a little lazy as of late. I've been editing my book. I've kind of been, I was watching football and eating turkey and doing all kinds, and drinking. I haven't really gained that much weight though, because I've kind of been staying away with the carbs outside of the drinking. So I was like, you know what? Let me do this. This is about this walk. I don't know. I've never done it before, but I think it's, from what I looked at, it's probably between an hour and a half. So I'm like, and it's pretty warm here today. It's like 77. So and a little humid. So I figured I'd just do this walk, get a little exercise. And this guy who's the cook here, this is a great restaurant. It's called The Front Porch. He makes everything from scratch. It's mostly seafood. It's over something I'll show you at the next video I do from there, called Hatchet Bay. So anyhow, there's life. You can see all the traffic, and it's busy right now. Just so you know, it's Thanksgiving weekend. There's more tourists here, but you can see, this is not LA or Toronto or Chicago or Long Island, New York traffic. Everybody take care.